The slap echoed through the emergency room like a gunshot. But Dr. Marcus Whitmore wasn't done. His fingers twisted into the young black nurse's natural curls, yanking her head back with such force that her body lifted off the ground. "Know your place, you worthless piece of trash!" Spit flew from his lips as he shoved her against the metal cabinet. The clang reverberated through the stunned silence. Every doctor, every nurse, every patient froze. They expected tears. They expected her to run. What they didn't expect was the way she slowly straightened her spine, touched the back of her head, and looked at him with eyes that had seen war. "You shouldn't have done that," she whispered. And in that moment, Dr. Whitmore realized he'd just assaulted the wrong woman. Before we dive into this incredible story, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss stories like this. And drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Now, let's get into what happens next. GSW incoming. Male, 50s, multiple chest wounds, BP crashing. The paramedics shout cut through Mount Sinai's ER at 2:47 p.m. Jasmine Carter's hands stilled over the crash cart. 3 months. She'd kept quiet for 3 months. "Bennett!" Dr. Marcus Whitmore's voice cracked like a whip. "Trauma Bay 1, move!" Jasmine walked, never ran. Running drew attention, toward the commotion. Nurses scattered around her. That's what Marcus Whitmore did to people. Made them scatter. "BP 70/40 and dropping." "Where's my own neg?" Whitmore barked. "And get me suction. Bennett, you deaf?" Jasmine reached the bedside and stopped breathing. The patient was a big man, gray beard, tactical vest cut open. The tattoo on his shoulder made her heart stop. Dagger with wings. She looked at his face, Master Sergeant Maxwell Johnson, the man who'd trained her at Fort Bragg. "Bennett!" Whitmore snapped his fingers in her face. "Suction! What are you, stupid?" "No, sir." Jasmine grabbed the catheter, cleared Max's airway. Her hands were steady. Always steady. But her mind raced. Something was wrong beyond the gunshot wounds. "Heart rate 140, the resident yelled. "Paid surgical," Whitmore ordered. "We're going up in 5. Jasmine watched the monitor, watched Max's neck veins bulge, watched his trachea shift left. "Asystole, he's coding. Paddles, charge to 200. Everyone moved at once. Jasmine stayed still, staring at Max's chest. "Clear!" Whitmore slammed the paddles down. Max's body convulsed. The monitor shrieked. "Still flat!" "Doctor!" Jasmine's voice cut through the chaos. "It's a tension pneumothorax." The room went silent. Whitmore turned slowly, face already red. "Excuse me?" "The trachea is deviated. Breath sounds absent on the right. He's got a collapsed lung compressing his heart. Shocking him won't." "Did you just try to tell me how to practice medicine?" Whitmore's voice was ice. "The patient needs a needle decompression, not—" "The patient?" Whitmore exploded. "You're a nurse. You change bedpans. You don't diagnose. You don't tell me, a Harvard-trained surgeon, what to do." "But the jugular distension—" "Shut up!" Whitmore stepped toward her. Nurses backed against walls. Residents froze. "You're fired."
"Get out of my trauma bay!"
Behind him, Max was dying. "Doctor, please, clear!" Whitmore hit Max again. The body jerked. Nothing. Flatline. Jasmine looked at Max, looked at the 14-gauge needle on the crash cart. 3 months of silence. 3 months of invisibility. 3 months of watching this man destroy people. She reached for the needle. "What do you think you're doing?" Whitmore spun around. "Saving his life." "Put that down." Whitmore lunged, his hand closed on her scrub cap, fingers tangling in her hair. The pain was sharp as he yanked backward. Jasmine's head snapped back, her body lifting. I said, his face inches from hers, breath hot and sour. Know your place, you worthless piece of trash. He shoved. Hard. Jasmine's shoulder hit the metal cabinet. The sound rang through the silent ER. The needle clattered down. Her scrub cap came off, natural curls spilling free. Dead silence. Even the flat line seemed quiet. Chloe gasped. Oh my God. He just... Another nurse whispered. Whitmore stood there, chest heaving, scrub cap in his fist. Then his expression shifted. She attacked me, he said to the room, loud, clear. You all saw it. She tried to assault me. I defended myself. Nobody spoke. Terror on every face. Derek opened his mouth, closed it, looked down. That's right, Whitmore said. She's unstable, dangerous. I want her. Move, Jasmine's voice cut him off. What? Move out of my way. She picked up the needle. When she straightened, something had changed. Her shoulders squared, feet spread. Combat stance. I'm not letting him die because of your ego. Security! Whitmore's voice cracked. Jasmine walked toward the bed. Whitmore moved to block her. Don't you! He reached for her arm. What happened next was too fast to follow. 1 second, Whitmore was reaching. The next, he was face down on the floor, arm twisted behind his back, screaming. Stay down. Not a request, an order. Jasmine turned to Max, found the second intercostal space, positioned the needle, pushed. Trapped air escaped the chest cavity. 3 heartbeats of silence. Then, beep, 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 beep. Oh my God, a resident whispered. She was right. Jasmine disposed of the needle. He needs a chest tube. Page respiratory. Type and cross for 4 units. Whitmore scrambled up, cradling his wrist, face purple. You assaulted me! In front of witnesses! I'll destroy you! My father owns this hospital. Jasmine stripped off her gloves, then she pulled up her sleeve. Scars, shrapnel wounds, and on her wrist, a tattoo of a dagger with wings. Derek's eyes went wide. That's Special Forces. Delta Force, someone breathed. Whitmore's mouth fell open. I know exactly who you are, Dr. Whitmore, Jasmine said calmly. You're a mediocre surgeon hiding behind Daddy's money. You're a danger to patients. And you just made the biggest mistake of your life. You can't. Call the police, Jasmine said to Derek. Report the assault. Get the security footage. She paused. And call this number. She recited it from memory. Ask for General David Harrison at the Pentagon. Tell him Shadow has been compromised. Shadow? Derek's voice was faint. Who are you? Max groaned. Everyone's heads snapped toward the bed. His eyes fluttered open. Where am I? Mount Sinai Hospital, Jasmine said, moving to his side. Manhattan, you were shot. You're going to be okay. Max's eyes found her face. Recognition dawned. Ghost? He whispered. They told me you were dead. Syria, they said, later. Jasmine squeezed his hand. Save your strength. Always saving my ass, Max managed a weak smile. Just like old times. Shut up, Marcus. The voice came from the doorway. Dr. Sarah Chen, head of emergency medicine, stood there with her arms crossed. Tiny woman, massive presence. Dr. Chen, Whitmore said. Thank God. This woman, I saw the security feed. Dr. Chen cut him off. Live on my tablet. I saw you grab a nurse by the hair and throw her into a cabinet. I saw you refuse a correct diagnosis. I saw you nearly kill a patient. And I saw her save his life, despite you. She walked in. "You're suspended. Security will escort you out." "Suspended?" Whitmore's voice went shrill. "My father!" "Your father doesn't run this ER. I do." Dr. Chen turned to Derek. "Call security, and call the police like Ms. Carter requested." Whitmore pulled out his phone. "Dad? Yeah, you need to get here now. Some crazy nurse attacked me and—" "What? No, but Dad, listen." He paused, face going redder. "I don't care if you're in a meeting. She—" Another pause. "Fine, but when you get here, I want her arrested and Chen fired." He hung up, glaring. "My father will be here in 20 minutes. You're all finished." "Looking forward to it," Dr. Chen said dryly. Two security guards appeared, Thompson and Rodriguez. "Dr. Whitmore, come with us."
I'm not going anywhere. I'm the victim.
"Sir, easy way or hard way," Rodriguez said. Whitmore straightened his shoulders. "Fine, but my lawyer will be here within the hour. You'll all be served by end of day." As security let him out, he turned back. "You're finished, Bennett. Finished." The doors swung shut. Chloe let out a long breath. "That was insane." "That was necessary," Jasmine corrected quietly. She looked at Max. "How are you feeling?" "Like I got shot," Max said, "but better than 5 minutes ago." His eyes started drifting. "We can argue about who saved who later." "BP stabilizing," the resident reported. 120/80. "Good," Dr. Chen said. She turned to Jasmine. "Thank you. You saved that man's life." She glanced at the tattoo. "We'll talk after you give your statement to the police." Two NYPD officers walked in. The older one, Sergeant Brady, gray hair, tired eyes, looked around. "Someone called about an assault?" "Dr. Marcus Whitmore assaulted this nurse," Derek said. "It's on the security cameras." Brady's eyes moved to Jasmine. "You're the victim?" "I'm the person he assaulted." Something in her tone made Brady pause. 20-year veteran. He knew how to read people. This woman didn't carry herself like a victim. "I need you to come to the station for a statement." "Of course." "Wait," Derek said. "Shouldn't you be arresting Whitmore?" "We'll talk to everyone involved," Brady said carefully. "But Mr. Whitmore has called his attorney, and his father is Richard Whitmore." The room went quiet. Everyone in New York knew that name. Billionaire, political kingmaker. "I see," Jasmine said. "So this is how it's going to be." Brady looked uncomfortable. "We'll investigate." "Will you?" "Because rich men who assault black women, the investigations tend to go a certain way." Brady's face flushed. "That's not fair." "Life's not fair, Sergeant." Jasmine held out her wrists. "Are you cuffing me or can I walk?" "Nobody's cuffing you. You're not under arrest. We just need a statement." "Then let's go." As they walked out, Jasmine could hear whispers behind her. "Did you see what she did to him? Delta Force. She called herself Ghost. Who is she really?" Brady opened his cruiser door. "After you, Ms. Carter." Jasmine slid into the back. Through the window, she could see nurses watching, some on their phones spreading the story. The radio crackled. "Unit 47, be advised. Richard Whitmore called the mayor's office. Chief wants updates every 15 minutes. Brady sighed, picked up the radio. "Copy. En route to station with witness." He pulled out. Jasmine leaned back, closed her eyes. 3 months of being invisible. Over. "Can I ask you something?" Brady said, watching her in the mirror. "Sure." "That tattoo. You were really Delta Force?" "I was a lot of things." "And the patient knew you?" "He trained me." Brady was quiet. Then, "So when Whitmore grabbed you, you could have really hurt him?" "Yes." "But you didn't." Minimum force necessary to stop the threat and save my patient. Minimum force looked pretty effective. It was supposed to be. Silence for a minute. Then Brady said, "I've got 2 sisters who are nurses. They've told me about doctors like Whitmore." He paused. "I believe you. Thank you. But Richard Whitmore will bury you. He's got resources, lawyers, politicians." "Maybe," Jasmine said. "Or maybe I'll bury him instead." Brady glanced at her in the mirror. "You sound confident." "I've fought real wars, Sergeant. Richard Whitmore is just a rich man who's never been told no. I'm not afraid of him." The station was gray concrete in Midtown. Brady led her through booking, humiliating but respectful, into an interview room. "Someone will take your statement shortly. Water?" "Please." He brought a bottle and left. Jasmine sat in the metal chair. Gray walls, fluorescent lights, camera in the corner. She'd been in rooms like this before. The door opened. A man in an expensive suit walked in with a female detective. "Ms. Carter, I'm Charles Whitlock, attorney for the Whitmore family. This is Detective Reed." Jasmine didn't respond. "Tell me what happened today," Reed said. Jasmine told the truth. The coding patient, her diagnosis, Whitmore's refusal, the assault. Clear. Calm. Mission debrief. Whitlock scribbled notes, occasionally shaking his head. When she finished, he leaned back. "Interesting story, Ms. Carter, but Dr. Whitmore tells it differently." "I'm sure he does." "He says you became erratic, tried to take over. He stopped you for patient safety. You assaulted him." "The security cameras will show the truth." "About that," Whitlock smiled. "The hospital's security system had a malfunction. Software glitch. The footage from Trauma Bay 1 was corrupted." Ice settled in Jasmine's stomach. Richard Whitmore had already started erasing evidence. "There were witnesses." "Yes, and several have signed statements confirming Dr. Whitmore's version." "They're lying." "Or you're lying. You're a nurse with thin employment history. Nursing license only 3 months old. Before that, nothing. Like you didn't exist." "I was in the military." "Were you?" "We checked. No record of a Jasmine Carter in any branch." Because Shadow's records were classified deeper than most generals could access. "Check with the Pentagon," she said. "General David Harrison." "We will. But Dr. Whitmore is pressing charges, assault and battery. Given your apparent instability, we're looking at felony charges." "I defended myself." "You used excessive force against a physician trying to stop you from harming a patient. Now he has a career-ending wrist injury." "His wrist isn't broken." "Our doctors say otherwise." Of course they did. The game was clear now. Richard Whitmore had erased the footage, pressured witnesses, manufactured evidence. "Here's what happens next." Whitlock slid a document across. "You sign this confession. Mental health crisis. Regret your actions. Surrender your nursing license. In exchange, no criminal charges." "And if I don't?" "You'll be arrested, charged, prosecuted. The Whitmores have excellent relationships with the DA's office. You'll be convicted. You'll go to prison." Jasmine looked at the paper. A lie from top to bottom. But probably the best deal she'd get. Not because she was guilty, because the Whitmores had the power to make her guilty. She picked up the pen. Whitlock smiled. Jasmine set the pen down. "No." Whitlock's smile faded. "Excuse me?" "I'm not signing. I'm not surrendering my license. And I'm not going quietly." "Miss Carter, you're protecting a man who assaulted me, who's probably assaulted dozens of others, who nearly killed a patient today because he was too arrogant to listen." "That's slander." "It's the truth, and I'll tell it in court if necessary." Whitlock leaned forward, pleasant demeanor dropping. The Whitmore family will destroy you. They'll take everything. Your career, reputation, freedom. You'll wish you'd taken this deal. Maybe, but I'll be able to look at myself in the mirror. Principals don't pay legal bills. No, but they're worth more than money. Whitlock stood, smoothing his suit. Think very carefully about your choices. This offer won't last. He left. Reed waited until the door closed. That was either brave or stupid. Probably both. Reed studied her. You really were military, weren't you? Yes. Special forces? Something like that. Reed tapped her pen. I've been a detective 12 years. I can spot liars. You're not lying. She paused. But Whitlock isn't either. The Whitmores will destroy you. They've done it before. To how many people? Reed didn't answer directly. There are rumors about Marcus Whitmore. Patients who died or were injured. Staff who complained and suddenly got fired or blacklisted. She met Jasmine's eyes. But they're just rumors. No one's proven anything. Because Richard Whitmore makes evidence disappear. I can't confirm that. But you know it's true. Silence. Then, if you really call the Pentagon, now would be a good time for them to call back. The door burst open. A man in Army dress uniform walked in, 3 stars on his shoulders. Lieutenant General David Harrison. Major Carter, stand up. Jasmine stood automatically. Harrison looked at Reed. Uncuff her. She's not cuffed, General. Good, because Major Carter is under my jurisdiction now. He showed Reed his phone. Federal authorization. Major Carter is being transferred to military custody, pending investigation of matters related to national security. Reed's eyes widened. National security? The patient she saved is Master Sergeant Maxwell Johnson, assigned to a classified unit under Pentagon authority. This incident intersects with ongoing military operations. All matters related to Major Carter fall under military jurisdiction. General, I don't think... It's exactly how it works, Detective. Want me to have the Secretary of Defense call your chief? Or save everyone time and let me take my soldier home? Reed looked at Jasmine, looked at Harrison, stood up. I'll need to clear this. You do that. We'll wait. Reed left. The door closed. Cutting it close, sir, Jasmine said quietly. 2 hours from Washington. Harrison pulled out his phone. How bad? They erased security footage, got witnesses to lie. Doctor claims I broke his wrist. Did you? No, sir. Compliance hold. Good. Harrison showed her his phone, security footage. NSA pulled this from a traffic camera across the street. Got a clean angle through the ER windows. Shows the whole thing. Whitmore grabbing you, throwing you, the assault. You've been watching me? Protecting you. You're a valuable asset. You made powerful enemies during your service. We weren't letting you go unmonitored. He pocketed the phone. We need to get you out before Richard Whitmore arrives with half the city council. He can do that? He's already tried. Called the mayor, called the DA, but he can't call the Pentagon. Harrison smiled slightly. That's your advantage. The door opened. Reed returned with her captain, stocky man, skeptical expression. General Harrison, the captain said. I'm Captain Morrison. I've spoken with my chief, who's spoken with the Pentagon. Your paperwork checks out. It does, but I've also got Richard Whitmore in my lobby demanding I arrest Ms. Carter, along with his son, 2 lawyers, and a city councilman. Then tell them she's no longer in your custody. Morrison's jaw worked. General, this is a civilian matter. It became military when it involved 2 active duty service members and intersected with classified operations, unless you want me to start discussing what Sergeant Johnson was doing that got him shot. in which case we'll need an SCIF and security clearances. Could take weeks. Morrison stared, then sighed. Fine. Take her. But Whitmore won't like this. I don't care what Whitmore likes. Harrison gestured to Jasmine. Let's go, Major. They walked out, shouting from the lobby. This is outrageous! I demand to see her! Harrison pushed through the doors. The lobby fell silent. Richard Whitmore was exactly as expected. 70, but fit, silver hair, tan, suit worth thousands. Marcus beside him, wrist wrapped dramatically. There she is, Marcus pointed. Arrest her! Major Carter is in my custody, Harrison said calmly. Military jurisdiction. That's absurd, Richard's face flushed. She assaulted my son. This is civilian. No, sir. And if you'd like to discuss it, my JAG officers will contact your lawyers. But Major Carter is leaving with me. Now. You can't! Richard stepped forward. I know people. Senators. I'll call the Secretary of Defense. Please do. I'm sure Secretary Matthews would love to explain why interfering with military investigations into national security is a bad idea. Richard's face went red, then purple. Then he controlled himself. This isn't over. That woman belongs in prison. Your son assaulted her first. Harrison pulled out his phone, showed the screen. We have video. Would you like to see? Even from where she stood, Jasmine could see it. Marcus grabbing her hair, throwing her. Color drained from Richard's face. That footage was erased. From the hospital's system, not from every camera in 3 blocks. Harrison pocketed his phone. Drop all charges against Major Carter, and I'll keep this to myself. If you pursue this, it ends up in the hands of every news outlet in New York. Wealthy white doctor assaults black nurse. Daddy covers it up. He paused. Not a good headline for someone developing properties in Harlem. Richard's face went through expressions. Rage, calculation, defeat. He turned to his lawyers. File a restraining order. Ban her from every hospital we're connected with. And investigate how she got that nursing license. Major Carter will be returning to active military duty, Harrison said. She won't need that license. Jasmine looked at him sharply. That wasn't the plan. Fine, Richard spat. Get her out of my city. Gladly. Harrison put a hand on Jasmine's shoulder, steered her toward the exit. Behind them, Marcus whined. Dad, you can't let her— Shut up, Marcus. They pushed through doors into cool evening air. A black SUV waited. Sir, Jasmine said quietly. I can't go back to active duty. The medical discharge was for PTSD symptoms that appear resolved. You just performed emergency surgery in a hostile environment under physical attack. I'd say you're fit for duty. But the doctors said you needed time to reintegrate. You've had it. 3 months. Civilian life isn't working out. Jasmine slid into the back seat. Harrison got in beside her. The driver pulled away. Where are we going? Fort Hamilton, helicopter waiting for Washington. Harrison looked at her. We need to debrief and talk about your future. I thought my future was nursing. Your future is wherever you do the most good. And that's not changing bedpan. He paused. Besides, you made enemies today. The Whitmores don't forgive. They'll come after you first chance. Let them. Harrison smiled slightly. That's what I hoped you'd say. He pulled out his phone. Because I've been looking into the Whitmore family since your call, and what I've found is very interesting. What do you mean? Marcus Whitmore isn't just a bad doctor. He's a serial killer with a medical license, and his father's been covering it up for years. He showed her files, documents, sealed settlements. 43 cases. 43 patients who died or were permanently injured due to Marcus Whitmore's negligence. 43 families paid off and silenced. That's just what we've found so far. Jasmine stared. 43 people. At minimum, some records were destroyed. Harrison's voice was grim. The Whitmores have been using hospital funds to pay settlements, falsifying records, intimidating witnesses, criminal conspiracy for at least a decade. Why hasn't anyone stopped them? Because Richard Whitmore is very powerful and very careful, owns politicians, judges, administrators. Anyone who investigates gets shut down. Harrison looked at her. But he doesn't own me, and he doesn't own the Pentagon. What are you saying? You didn't just save one life today. You gave us the opening to take down a very bad man. Harrison put his phone away. But it'll be a fight. The Whitmores will use every resource to destroy you. The only way to win is hit back harder. Jasmine looked out at city lights flashing past. How? Expose everything. Every case, every cover-up, every paid-off family. Go public. Harrison paused. But we need more. Someone on the inside. Someone who can access hospital records and prove Richard Whitmore knew about his son's incompetence and covered it up. You need a witness. Several. Hospital staff who've seen it but been too afraid to speak. Jasmine thought about Derek, frozen with fear. Chloe whispering it was amazing. Nurses backing against walls. They're scared. Of course. But so were you 3 months ago. Harrison's voice was gentle. Look what you did today. You stood up. You fought back. Maybe they will too, if someone shows them how. The SUV pulled through Fort Hamilton's gates. In the distance, a helicopter on the pad, rotors spinning. What do you say, Major? Want to end this? Really end it? Jasmine thought about Max, dying because Marcus Whitmore was too arrogant to listen. The 43 others who hadn't been lucky. Families silenced, staff intimidated. She thought about the scared look on Chloe's face. Derek wanting to speak but unable to find courage. Yes, sir. I want to end it. Good, Harrison smiled. Then let's go to war. The helicopter lifted into the night sky, carrying them toward Washington and whatever came next. Below, New York's lights spread like stars. Somewhere down there, Richard and Marcus Whitmore were planning their next move. But they didn't know what was coming. They thought they were fighting a nurse. A nobody. They were wrong. They were fighting Shadow. And Shadow never lost. The helicopter touched down at Joint Base Andrews 40 minutes later. Jasmine followed Harrison across the tarmac toward a black sedan waiting with engine running. The driver didn't look at them, didn't speak, just drove. Where are we going? Jasmine asked. Safe house in Georgetown, Harrison said. We need to plan this carefully. The Whitmores will be watching every move you make. They already think I'm going back to active duty. Good. Let them think that. Harrison pulled out his phone, scrolled through files. While they're focused on keeping you away from New York, we'll be building our case against them. Jasmine watched the monuments flash past the window. You said we need witnesses from inside the hospital. At least 3, preferably 5 or 6. People who've seen Marcus Whitmore's incompetence firsthand. People who can testify that Richard Whitmore knew and covered it up. They're all terrified of him. Then we make them more terrified of what happens if they don't speak up. Harrison's voice was cold. 43 people are dead, Major. 43 families destroyed. How many of those hospital staff members looked the other way? How many saw something wrong and said nothing because they were afraid of losing their jobs? Jasmine thought about Derek freezing when Whitmore told him to shut up. Chloe whispering that what Jasmine did was amazing, but not stepping forward herself. All those nurses backing against the walls. They're not bad people, she said quietly. They're just scared. Scared people do bad things, Harrison said, or they let bad things happen, which is the same thing. He looked at her. But scared people can also be brave if someone shows them how. The sedan pulled up to a brick townhouse on a quiet street. Harrison got out, gestured for Jasmine to follow. Inside, the place was sparse, furniture, but no personal items. Safe house, not a home. A woman in civilian clothes stood in the living room. Late 30s, sharp eyes, the kind of posture that said military even without the uniform. Major Carter, this is Captain Lisa Chen, Army Intelligence. She'll be coordinating the investigation. Chen extended her hand. Major, I've read your file. Impressive. The unclassified parts aren't that impressive, Jasmine said. I read the classified parts. Chen's smile was slight. The Korangal Valley operation, the extraction in Kandahar, Syria. Her smile faded. I'm sorry about Syria. Jasmine didn't respond. Syria wasn't something she talked about. Captain Chen has been investigating the Whitmores for 6 months, Harrison said. We started looking into them after a whistleblower from Mount Sinai reached out to the DoD Inspector General. Jasmine's head snapped up. Someone already trying to expose them? Tried being the key word, Chen said. She pulled out a tablet, showed Jasmine a photo. A young black woman, maybe 25, in nursing scrubs. Keisha Williams, surgical unit nurse. She filed a complaint with the hospital administration about Marcus Whitmore 3 months ago. Said she witnessed him make a fatal error during surgery and then falsify the records. What happened to her? Fired for theft. Hospital claimed she was stealing medications. Had witnesses. Had video evidence. Had everything they needed to destroy her credibility completely. Let me guess, Jasmine said. The witnesses lied, and the video was faked. We can't prove it, Chen said. But yes, that's what we believe. Keisha Williams is currently unemployed, blacklisted from every hospital in New York, and facing criminal charges. No one will listen to her now. Where is she? Brooklyn, living with her mother. We've had her under protective surveillance since she reached out to us. Harrison sat down on the couch. Here's the situation. We have documentation of 43 suspicious cases involving Marcus Whitmore. We have financial records showing large payments from the hospital's legal settlement fund. We have NDAs signed by families. But we don't have anyone willing to testify that Richard Whitmore personally orchestrated the cover-ups. Because everyone who knows is either paid off or too scared, Jasmine said. Exactly. Chen sat down across from her. That's where you come in. I'm banned from Mount Sinai. Richard Whitmore made sure of that. You're banned from entering as a visitor or employee, Chen corrected. But hospital security isn't that tight, especially not at night, especially not if you know the layout. Jasmine understood. You want me to go back? We want you to make contact with hospital staff who witnessed Marcus Whitmore's incompetence. We want you to convince them to talk to us, and we want you to access the hospital's internal records to find evidence that Richard Whitmore knew what his son was doing. That's breaking and entering, unauthorized access to medical records. That's federal crimes. Not if you're operating under military intelligence authorization, Harrison said, which you are. This is a national security matter now. How is this national security? Harrison's expression hardened. Because Master Sergeant Johnson wasn't in New York on vacation. He was conducting surveillance on a suspected foreign intelligence operative who was using Mount Sinai Hospital for dead drops. When he got shot, he was extracted to the nearest trauma center, which happened to be Mount Sinai. If Marcus Whitmore had killed him, it would have compromised an ongoing counterintelligence operation. Jasmine sat back. You're saying this ties to espionage? I'm saying we have legal justification to investigate anything that threatens Sergeant Johnson's life, including the medical care he received.
including the doctor who nearly killed him through incompetence, including the hospital administration that's been covering up that doctor's malpractice for years. That's a hell of a stretch. It's a legal stretch, Chen said. But it holds up. We've cleared it through JAG. You'll have official authorization to conduct this investigation. If you're caught, you're covered. If I'm caught, Richard Whitmore will have me killed. Which is why you won't get caught, Harrison said. Your shadow. You've infiltrated Taliban compounds. You've extracted high-value targets from hostile territory. You're telling me you can't sneak into a hospital and talk to some nurses? Jasmine thought about it. Thought about the 43 dead people. Thought about Max almost becoming number 44. Thought about Keisha Williams, her life destroyed for trying to do the right thing. When do I go? Tonight, Chen said. We've already made contact with one potential witness, Derek Mitchell, the charge nurse you met today. He's willing to meet with you. Derek wouldn't even speak up when Whitmore assaulted me. He called us 3 hours ago, Chen said. Said he's been watching Marcus Whitmore hurt people for 5 years. Said he's tired of being afraid. Said what you did today reminded him that sometimes you have to stand up, even when it's dangerous. Jasmine felt something unexpected. Hope? Who else? Chloe Martinez, the young nurse in pink scrubs. She reached out through an encrypted messaging app. She wants to help, but she's scared. She should be scared, Jasmine said. The Whitmores will destroy her if they find out. That's why we need to move fast, Harrison said. Get in, make contact, get the evidence, get out. 72 hours maximum. After that, the Whitmores will realize something's happening and they'll lock everything down. Chen handed Jasmine a phone. Encrypted, untraceable. Derek's number is programmed in. He's expecting your call at 2200 hours. That's... She checked her watch. 3 hours from now. Jasmine took the phone. What about hospital security? The Whitmores will have people watching. We have people watching the people watching, Chen said. We'll run interference, create distractions if necessary. But you need to stay invisible. No confrontations, no heroics. Just gather evidence and witnesses. And if I run into Marcus Whitmore? You won't, Harrison said. He's been admitted to a private hospital in Connecticut. Claims he needs surgery on his wrist. Convenient timing. What about Richard? Richard will be in the city, but he rarely visits the hospital at night. As long as you're careful, you should be able to avoid him. Jasmine stood up, paced to the window. Outside, Georgetown was quiet, peaceful. Nothing like the war zone she was about to walk back into. I need equipment, she said. Camera, recording device, something to copy digital files. Already prepared. Chen gestured to a bag on the table. Micro camera, voice recorder, USB with data extraction software, everything you need. Jasmine picked up the bag, felt its weight. Light, professional, military grade. There's something else, Harrison said. His tone had changed, more careful. Jasmine turned. What? We've been monitoring communications between Richard Whitmore and his legal team. They're not just trying to cover up what happened today. They're planning something bigger. What kind of something? Chen pulled up a file on her tablet. They're going after everyone who witnessed what happened in the ER, offering money to some, threatening others. They've already convinced 6 nurses to sign affidavits saying you attacked Marcus without provocation. 6 people lied under oath? People do a lot of things when they're scared or desperate, Chen said. The Whitmores know how to apply pressure. What about the nurses who won't lie? Chen's expression darkened. That's what concerns us. We intercepted a conversation between Richard Whitmore and someone we haven't identified yet. Richard said, and I quote, "Make the problem go away, permanently if necessary." The room went cold. He's talking about killing witnesses, Jasmine said. We don't know that for certain, Harrison said. Could be talking about firing them, blacklisting them, but we can't take the chance, Jasmine finished.
Which means anyone who helps me is in danger. Yes.
Jasmine set the bag down.
Then we protect them. Everyone who agrees to testify gets protection. Military security, safe houses, whatever they need.
Agreed, Harrison said. But first we need to convince them to testify. And that's your job. Jasmine checked the time. 1900 hours. 3 hours until she called Derek. 3 hours to prepare for going back into enemy territory. I need to shower and eat something, she said. Then I need to see everything you have on the Whitmores. Financial records, legal settlements, personnel files, everything. Second door on the left, Chen said. I'll have food ready when you're done. And Major? She waited until Jasmine looked at her. Thank you for doing this. A lot of people will sleep better when the Whitmores are behind bars. Jasmine didn't respond. She just headed for the bathroom. Under the hot water, she finally let herself feel it. The adrenaline crash from the day, the ache in her shoulder where Whitmore had thrown her, the burn on her scalp where he'd grabbed her hair. But more than the physical pain was something else. Fear. Not for herself. She'd faced worse than the Whitmores, but fear for Derek and Chloe, and anyone else brave enough to stand up. Fear that she was about to get good people hurt or killed. She remembered Syria, remembered the faces of the civilians who'd helped her team, remembered what happened to them after the operation went bad, remembered the promises she'd made that she couldn't keep. Not again, she thought. I won't let it happen again. When she came out 20 minutes later, Chen had laid out a spread of sandwiches and coffee on the dining table. Files were stacked next to the food. Start with the red folder, Chen said. That's the financial analysis. You'll want to understand the money trail. Jasmine sat down, opened the folder. The numbers were staggering. Over the past 10 years, Mount Sinai Hospital had paid out $47 million in legal settlements. $47 million to keep families quiet about medical errors. How much of this is Marcus Whitmore? She asked. We estimate $32 million, Chen said. The rest is other doctors, other incidents. But Marcus accounts for the majority. And the hospital just kept letting him operate? The hospital is afraid of Richard Whitmore. He's on the board of directors. He's their largest donor. He's threatened to withdraw funding multiple times if they try to discipline his son. Jasmine flipped through the pages, saw names, dates, causes of death, wrong medication, wrong surgery, wrong diagnosis. Over and over, Marcus Whitmore made mistakes, and people died. This one. Jasmine pointed to a file dated 3 years ago. Sarah Chen, same last name as you. Chen's face went still. My sister. The room went silent. She was a patient at Mount Sinai, Chen continued, her voice carefully controlled. Routine appendectomy. Marcus Whitmore was the surgeon. He nicked her femoral artery during the procedure. She bled out before they could get her stabilized. I'm sorry, Jasmine said. The hospital called it a surgical complication. Offered my parents $2 million to sign an NDA and not sue. My parents refused. They wanted justice. They wanted Marcus Whitmore's license revoked. Chen's hands were shaking slightly. Richard Whitmore hired investigators to dig into my family. Found out my father had a DUI 15 years ago. Found out my mother had filed for bankruptcy after my father's business failed. They threatened to leak it all to the press, make my parents look like they were just after money. What did your parents do? They settled, took the money, signed the NDA, told me to let it go. Chen looked at Jasmine. But I didn't let it go. I joined Army intelligence specifically so I could investigate the Whitmores without them knowing. I've been building this case for 3 years. Does Harrison know?
He knows. It's why he assigned me to this. He knows I'll see it through no matter what. Jasmine understood now. This wasn't just about justice for 43 victims. This was personal. This was revenge. I won't let you down, she said. I know you won't. Chen stood up. Because you're not just doing this for me or those 43 families. You're doing it for everyone the Whitmores will hurt in the future if we don't stop them now. At 21:45 hours, Jasmine called Derek. He answered on the first ring. Hello? It's Bennett. Jasmine Carter. Oh, God. His voice was shaking. I wasn't sure you'd really call. I thought maybe... I'm calling. Are you somewhere safe? I'm in my apartment. Alone. Good. Don't tell anyone we're talking. Not friends, not family, no one. I won't. The people I work with want to meet with you. They want to hear what you know about Marcus Whitmore. Silence. Then, if I do this, I'll lose my job. Yes. I'll probably never work as a nurse again. Probably not in New York. The Whitmores will destroy me like they destroyed Keisha. They'll try, but we'll protect you. How can you protect me from someone with that much money and power? Because I have something they don't, Jasmine said. I have the truth. And I have people who care about the truth more than they care about money. Derek was quiet for a long time. Finally, what do you need from me? I need you to tell me everything you've seen Marcus Whitmore do wrong. Every mistake, every cover-up, every patient who died or was hurt because of him. That's going to take a while. I have time. Okay. Derek took a deep breath. There was a woman 2 years ago. Came in with abdominal pain. Marcus diagnosed her with gastritis, sent her home. She came back 6 hours later, septic, ruptured appendix. She died in the ICU 3 days later. Jasmine was recording. Do you remember her name? Jennifer Rodriguez. She had 3 kids. What did the hospital do? Settled with a family, $2.5 million. Marcus said it was a diagnostic challenge, that anyone could have missed it. But I saw the chart. She had all the classic signs of appendicitis. He just didn't bother to do a proper exam. Who else knows about this? Dr. Chen, Sarah Chen, the head of emergency medicine. She was the one who reviewed the case. She wanted Marcus disciplined, but the board overruled her. Anyone else? Chloe was working that shift. She saw the whole thing. She cried in the break room after the woman died. Would Chloe testify? I don't know. She's scared. She's got student loans. She's supporting her family. She can't afford to lose this job. What if we protected her, got her a new job somewhere else, made sure she was safe? Maybe, but you'd have to convince her. She doesn't trust easily. Can you set up a meeting? Somewhere private? There's a coffee shop 3 blocks from the hospital. It's open 24 hours. We could meet there. Tomorrow night. 2,300 hours. Okay? Derek paused. Jasmine? Thank you. For standing up to him today. I should have done it years ago. I'm ashamed that I didn't. You're doing it now. That's what matters. After she hung up, Chen was watching her. Well? He's in. He knows about at least one case. Thinks he can get Chloe Martinez to talk to us, too. Good. Chen checked her watch. You should try to sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. But Jasmine couldn't sleep. She spent the night reading files, learning the details of each case, memorizing names, dates, details. By the time the sun came up, she knew more about Marcus Whitmore's incompetence than anyone except Richard Whitmore himself. And she was ready to make them both pay for it. The coffee shop on Amsterdam Avenue was half empty at 2300 hours. Jasmine sat in a corner booth, back to the wall, eyes on the door. Old habits. Derek arrived first, looking over his shoulder every 3 seconds, like he expected assassins to jump out of the shadows.
Relax, Jasmine said when he slid into the booth. You look guilty. I feel guilty, Derek said. I called in sick to work today. I never call in sick. Where's Chloe? She's coming. She's scared. She should be. Derek's head snapped up. That's not reassuring. I'm not here to reassure you. I'm here to tell you the truth. The Whitmores are dangerous. They've destroyed people for less than what we're about to do. If you want to back out, do it now. Derek swallowed hard. No, I'm in. I need you to understand what I'm risking. This job is everything to me. I've worked at Mount Sinai for 8 years. I've built my whole life around it.
And how many people have died in those 8 years because you were too afraid to speak up? The words hit like a slap. Derek flinched. I'm sorry, Jasmine said, softer. That wasn't fair. No, it was fair, Derek said. It's the question I've been asking myself for 5 years. Ever since the first time I saw Marcus Whitmore kill someone through incompetence, and nothing happened to him. Tell me about that first time. Derek looked down at his hands. His name was Robert Chen, 52 years old. Came in with chest pain. Marcus said it was indigestion. Sent him home. Robert collapsed in the parking lot 20 minutes later. Massive heart attack. By the time they got him back inside, it was too late. Robert Chen, Jasmine repeated. Any relation to Sarah Chen? Her father. The pieces clicked into place. Wait, Sarah Chen's father died at Mount Sinai? 5 years ago. Sarah was a surgical resident at the time. She saw the whole thing. She tried to file a complaint against Marcus, but the board buried it. They said it was a diagnostic challenge, that even experienced doctors could miss the signs. Derek's voice was bitter. Sarah knew the truth. That's why she left surgical residency and switched to emergency medicine. She said she couldn't trust the system anymore. Does she know her sister Lisa is investigating the Whitmores? Derek's eyes widened. Captain Chen is Sarah's sister? You didn't know? No, Sarah never talks about her family. Derek paused. Does Sarah know about the investigation? I don't know. The door opened. Chloe Martinez walked in, pink jacket pulled tight around her despite the warm night. She spotted them, hesitated, almost turned around. Chloe, Derek called softly. It's okay. Come sit. Chloe walked over like she was walking to her execution. She slid into the booth next to Derek, as far from Jasmine as possible. Hi, she said, not making eye contact. Thank you for coming, Jasmine said. I shouldn't be here. If anyone sees me, no one's going to see you. We're being careful. Are we? Chloe's voice cracked. Because Richard Whitmore has money and connections, and he's probably having us followed right now. He's not, Jasmine said. We have people watching for surveillance. You're safe. For now. But what about tomorrow? What about next week? What happens when he figures out I talked to you? We protect you. We get you a new job. Maybe a different city. We make sure you're safe. Chloe laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. A new job. A different city. You're asking me to give up my entire life. I'm asking you to help stop a man who's killing people. And what if I don't want to help? What if I just want to keep my head down and do my job and not get involved? Then Jennifer Rodriguez died for nothing, Derek said quietly. Chloe's face crumpled. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Derek said. But it's the truth. We both saw what happened to her. We both knew Marcus screwed up. And we both did nothing. What were we supposed to do? We're nurses. He's the chief surgeon. He's untouchable. He's not untouchable, Jasmine said. He's just rich. And rich men can fall just as hard as anyone else. Chloe wiped her eyes. What do you need from me? I need you to tell me everything you know about Jennifer Rodriguez's case.
And any other cases where you witnessed Marcus Whitmore make mistakes?
There are so many, Chloe whispered. Too many to count.
Then start with the worst ones. For the next hour, Chloe and Derek talked. They told stories about patients who died, about families who were lied to, about medical records that were altered, about nurses who asked questions and suddenly found themselves fired for mysterious policy violations. Jasmine recorded everything on the encrypted phone Chen had given her.
There's something else, Chloe said when they were almost done. Something I wasn't sure I should mention. Mention it, Jasmine said. Last week, I was working late. I saw Richard Whitmore in Marcus's office. They were arguing. The door was open a crack, and I could hear them. What were they saying? Richard was angry. He said Marcus was getting sloppy, that he was making too many mistakes too close together, that people were starting to ask questions.
Chloe's voice dropped to a whisper.
And then Richard said something that made my blood run cold. He said, "If you can't control yourself, I'll find someone who can control you."
Control him how? Derek asked.
I don't know, but the way he said it, it sounded like a threat, like he was threatening his own son. Jasmine's mind raced. Did Marcus respond? He said, "I'm doing my best, Dad." And Richard said, "Your best isn't good enough."
You're putting everything we've built at risk. One more mistake, and I'm done protecting you.
When was this exactly?
6 days ago, Tuesday night. 6 days before Marcus assaulted Jasmine in the ER. 6 days before he made his biggest mistake yet.
There's more, Chloe said. After Richard left, I heard Marcus on the phone. He was talking to someone. He said, "I need something to calm my nerves, the usual, tonight."
Drugs? Derek said.
I think so. I don't know for sure.
But the way he said it, it sounded like he was ordering something illegal. Did you see who he called?
No, but I know he left the hospital right after. And when he came back the next morning, he seemed different. Calmer. Too calm.
Jasmine sat back. Marcus Whitmore was using drugs. Richard Whitmore was threatening his own son. The family was fracturing.
This is good, she said. This is really good.
How is any of this good? Chloe said.
It just makes them sound more dangerous.
It means they're vulnerable. It means there are cracks we can exploit. Derek's phone buzzed. He looked at it, and his face went pale.
What?
Jasmine asked. It's a text from Sarah Chen. She wants to see me in her office tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. sharp.
Does she know you're here?
I don't know. She just says it's urgent. Jasmine's instincts screamed warning.
Don't go.
I have to. She's my boss. If I don't show up, she'll know something's wrong.
Maybe she already knows something's wrong. Or maybe this is about something else entirely. Maybe it's just a normal work thing. There's no such thing as a normal work thing right now, Jasmine said. Everything is connected to the Whitmores. Everything.
Chloe stood up suddenly.
I need to go. This is too much. I can't do this. Chloe, wait. No, I'm sorry. I want to help, I really do. But I can't risk it. I have family depending on me. I have bills. I have a life.
She was backing toward the door.
I'm sorry, Derek. I'm sorry, Jasmine. I just can't.
She ran out before either of them could stop her. Derek started to get up. I should go after her.
Let her go,
Jasmine said.
She's scared. Pushing her will just make it worse.
We need her testimony.
We have your testimony, and we'll find others.
Derek sat back down, looking defeated. What if there are no others? What if everyone's too scared?
Then we'll find another way.
How? The Whitmores have covered their tracks for years.
They've paid off families. They've destroyed evidence. Without witnesses, how do we prove anything? Jasmine pulled out the phone Chen had given her. We go to the source. What source? The hospital's servers. The digital records they think they deleted. Chen gave me software that can recover deleted files. If we can access the hospital's network, we can find the original records before they were altered. That's impossible. The servers are locked down. You need administrative access. Do you have administrative access? No. Only IT staff and senior administrators have that level of access. Who's the head of IT? Derek thought. David Park. But he'd never help us. He's been at Mount Sinai for 20 years. He's loyal to the hospital. Everyone's loyal until they're given a reason not to be. You can't just walk up to him and ask him to commit a felony. I'm not going to ask him, Jasmine said. I'm going to find out what he cares about and use it. Derek stared at her. You sound like them. Like the Whitmores. Maybe, but I'm doing it for the right reasons. Are you sure about that? The question hung in the air. Jasmine wasn't sure. She wasn't sure about anything anymore, except that 43 people were dead, and more would die if she didn't stop the Whitmores. I should go, Derek said finally. I have that meeting with Sarah in the morning. Be careful. If she asks about tonight, don't lie. Just say you met a friend for coffee. And if she asks which friend? Tell her the truth. Tell her it was me. Derek's eyes widened. Are you insane? Sarah Chen knows her father and sister died because of the Whitmores. If she's asking to see you tomorrow, it's because she either wants to help or she's been compromised. Either way, lying won't help. And if she's been compromised? Then we'll know who our enemies are. Derek left looking even more terrified than when he'd arrived. Jasmine stayed in the booth, nursing cold coffee, thinking. Her phone buzzed. A text from Chen. Status? Jasmine typed back. 2 witnesses, 1 solid, 1 fled. Need to access hospital servers, working on IT angle. The response came immediately. Negative on servers, too risky, stick to witnesses. Jasmine stared at the message. Chen was wrong. Witnesses could be intimidated, killed, discredited, but digital evidence was permanent. Even if the Whitmores thought they'd deleted it, forensic recovery could find it. She typed back. Understood. But she had no intention of following that order. Outside the coffee shop, Jasmine walked 3 blocks before ducking into an alley. She pulled out a second phone, one Chen didn't know about. One Harrison had given her privately, with 1 contact programmed in. She dialed. A voice answered on the first ring. Shadow. I need a favor, Jasmine said. Name it. I need background on David Park, head of IT at Mount Sinai Hospital. Everything. Family, finances, secrets. I need leverage. How fast? 4 hours. Done. The line went dead. Jasmine pocketed the phone and headed back toward Georgetown. She had 4 hours to prepare. 4 hours before she knew whether David Park would be an ally or another obstacle. When she got back to the safe house, Harrison was waiting in the living room. Chen says you want to access the hospital servers, he said without preamble. She told you to stop me. She did. I'm not going to. Jasmine sat down. Why not? Because she's thinking like an investigator. Careful, methodical, building a case that will hold up in court. Harrison leaned forward. But I'm thinking like a soldier. And soldiers know that sometimes you have to take risks to win the war. This could blow up in our faces. It could, but doing nothing guarantees the Whitmores walk away free. I'd rather take the risk. Chen won't see it that way. Chen doesn't need to know until it's done. By then, either you'll have the evidence or you won't. Either way, we'll deal with the consequences. Jasmine respected that. Harrison understood the mission came first. Rules were important,
but not more important than justice. "I'm waiting on intel about the IT director," she said. "Once I have leverage, I'll make contact."
Be careful. The Whitmores are watching the hospital. They're paranoid after what happened yesterday. Good. Paranoid people make mistakes, Harrison smiled. That's what I like about you, Major. You think like a hunter. I am a hunter, and the Whitmores are my prey. At 0300 hours, Jasmine's phone buzzed. The intel on David Park had arrived. She read through it twice, memorizing details. David Park, 47 years old, married with 2 teenage daughters.
We diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer 6 months ago. Medical bills piling up despite insurance. Second mortgage on their house. Credit cards maxed out. Desperate for money. But there was more. David's younger brother had died at Mount Sinai Hospital 2 years ago. Surgical complications during a routine procedure. The surgeon had been Marcus Whitmore. Jasmine smiled. She had her leverage. At 0800 hours, she called David Park's cell phone. "Hello?" His voice was tired. "Mr. Park, my name is Major Jasmine Carter. I need to speak with you about your brother's death." Silence. Then, "Who is this really?" "I'm the nurse who saved Master Sergeant Johnson yesterday, the one Marcus Whitmore assaulted." "I heard about that. The whole hospital heard." "Then you know I'm not working with the Whitmores." "What do you want?" "I want to help you get justice for your brother, and I want your help stopping Marcus Whitmore from killing anyone else." "I can't help you. I have a family to protect." "I know about your wife's cancer. I know about your bills. I know you're drowning financially." Park's voice went cold. "Are you threatening me?" "No, I'm offering you a way out. Help me, and I'll make sure your wife gets the treatment she needs. Full coverage, experimental treatments if necessary, whatever it takes." "How can you possibly guarantee that?" "Because I work for people with resources you can't imagine. Military resources, government resources. We take care of our own." "I'm not military." "But your brother was. Army medic, served in Iraq, came home and became a nurse. Died because Marcus Whitmore was too incompetent to do his job properly." She heard Park's breathing change, heard the grief and anger he'd been holding back for 2 years. "What do you need from me?" he finally asked. "Access to the hospital's servers. I need to recover deleted medical records. I need to see what the Whitmores have been hiding." "That's illegal." "I could lose my job, go to prison." "You won't. I have authorization from military intelligence. You'll be protected." "And my wife's treatment?" "Guaranteed. No matter what happens, your wife gets the care she needs." Park was quiet for a long time. Jasmine waited. Let him think it through. Let him realize this was his only chance to do the right thing and save his family at the same time. "When?" he said finally. "Tonight, 0200 hours. I need you to let me into the server room and give me 30 minutes of uninterrupted access." "The security guards will see you." "Not if you tell them there's a system emergency that requires maintenance. Not if you tell them the server room is off limits for the next hour." "And if something goes wrong?" "Nothing will go wrong." "You can't promise that." "You're right, I can't. But I can promise that if you do nothing, Marcus Whitmore will keep killing people, and your brother's death will mean nothing." Park made a sound that might have been a sob or a laugh. "You really know how to motivate someone." "I know how to tell the truth. That's all I'm doing." 0200 hours. Server room on the 3rd floor. I'll make sure you have access." "Thank you, Mr. Park." "Don't thank me yet. We might both end up in prison for this." The line went dead. Jasmine sat back, feeling the weight of what she'd just set in motion. In 18 hours,
She'd either have the evidence to destroy the Whitmores, or she'd be caught breaking into a hospital and thrown in jail. She called Harrison. "It's done. Park is in. I go tonight at 0200. "I'll have backup standing by. If anything goes wrong, we extract you immediately." "No extraction. If I get caught, I get caught. I won't risk exposing the operation." "That's not your call, Major." "With respect, sir, it is. This is my mission. My risk." Harrison was silent. Then, "You remind me of your father." Jasmine froze. "You knew my father?" "I served with him, long time ago. He was the best operator I ever worked with, and he was willing to die for what he believed in." "He did die for what he believed in." "I know. I was there when it happened." Harrison's voice was heavy. "Don't make me watch his daughter die the same way." "I won't die, sir. I'm too stubborn." That's what he said too. The call ended. Jasmine sat in the darkness, thinking about her father, thinking about the mission that had killed him, thinking about whether she was following in his footsteps or making the same mistakes he'd made. At 2300 hours, Derek called. "I met with Sarah Chen this morning," he said without preamble. "And?" "She knows. She knows everything. She knows we met with you. She knows about the investigation." Jasmine's heart sank. "Did she threaten you?" "No. She thanked me." "What?" "She said she's been waiting for someone to stand up to the Whitmores for 5 years. She said she couldn't do it herself because she's too close to it, too emotional. But she said if we're really going to take them down, she wants to help." "How does she want to help?" "She has records. Personal copies of files the hospital tried to destroy. Cases involving Marcus Whitmore. She's been keeping them safe for years, waiting for the right time to use them." "Why didn't she use them before?" "Because she knew if she tried to expose the Whitmores alone, they'd destroy her just like they destroyed everyone else. But if there's a coordinated effort, if there are multiple people coming forward at once, the Whitmores can't silence everyone." Jasmine felt hope again. Real hope. "Can you get those files?" "She's bringing them to me tomorrow. She said to give them to you." "Tell her thank you. Tell her..." Jasmine paused. "Tell her I'm sorry about her father and sister." "She knows. She said that's why she trusts you. Because you understand what it's like to lose someone to senseless violence." After the call ended, Jasmine checked her equipment one more time. Micro camera, voice recorder, USB drive with recovery software. Everything was ready. At 1:30 hours, she left the safe house and headed for Mount Sinai Hospital. It was time to go hunting. The loading dock behind Mount Sinai Hospital was dark at 01:45 hours. Jasmine waited in the shadows, watching the security guard make his rounds. 2 minutes, like clockwork. When he disappeared around the corner, she moved. The service entrance was locked, but the key card David Park had left under the dumpster worked perfectly. The door clicked open. Jasmine slipped inside. The basement hallway smelled like disinfectant and old coffee. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Empty except for a janitor's cart abandoned near the elevator. Jasmine moved past it, heading for the stairwell. Taking elevators left electronic records. Stairs were invisible. Her phone buzzed, a text from Park. "Guard shift change in 10 minutes. Server room clear. 3rd floor, east wing. Code is 4729. Jasmine climbed 3 flights, listening at each landing. Nothing. The hospital was quieter at night, but it was never truly empty. Someone was always dying. Someone was always being born. The machinery of life and death never stopped. She reached the 3rd floor. The hallway stretched ahead, lined with offices. IT department was at the far end. Through the window in the door, she could see David Park sitting at a desk, pretending to work. He looked up, saw her, and gave a small nod. Jasmine entered.
Park stood up quickly. "You're late," he whispered. "Had to wait for the guard. Where's the server room?" "This way." Park led her down a short hallway to a door marked "Authorized Personnel Only." He punched in the code. The lock clicked. Inside, the server room was cold. Rows of black towers hummed and blinked with thousands of tiny lights. This was the heart of the hospital. Every patient record, every doctor's note, every piece of evidence the Whitmores thought they'd destroyed, it was all here, waiting to be found. "How long do you need?" Park asked. 20 minutes, maybe 30. The guards do rounds every 45 minutes. You have until 02:30 at the latest. Jasmine pulled out the USB drive Chen had given her. "Which terminal has administrator access?" Park pointed to a workstation in the corner. "That one. I've already logged in with my credentials. The recovery software should be able to access any deleted files from the past 10 years. Jasmine sat down, inserted the USB drive. The screen flickered. A program loaded. She typed in commands, watching as the software began scanning the servers for deleted medical records. "How long will this take?" she asked. "Depends on how much data we're talking about. Could be 5 minutes, could be an hour." "We don't have an hour." "Then we better hope the Whitmores were sloppy." The progress bar crawled across the screen. 1%, 2%, 3. "Can I ask you something?" Park said. "Make it quick." "Why are you really doing this? I know what you told me about justice and stopping the Whitmores. But there's something else, isn't there?" Jasmine kept her eyes on the screen. "A good man almost died yesterday because Marcus Whitmore was too arrogant to listen. That man trained me, saved my life more than once. I owe him." "And that's it? You're risking everything for one person?" "One person is enough." The progress bar hit 15%. Jasmine's fingers drummed on the desk. Too slow. This was taking too long. "What about you?" she asked. "Why are you really helping me? I know it's not just about your brother." Park was quiet. Then, "My wife asked me a question last week. She said, if you could have saved your brother by speaking up, would you have done it? And I said yes, of course. And she said, then why aren't you speaking up now? How many other people's brothers are dying while you stay silent?" 25%. The software was pulling files, thousands of them. Medical records, surgical notes, incident reports. "Your wife sounds smart," Jasmine said. "She is. Too smart to have married me." Park checked his watch. "You have 18 minutes left." The door to the IT office opened. Both of them froze. Footsteps in the hallway, coming closer. "Security?" Jasmine whispered. "No. Guards knock first." The footsteps stopped right outside the server room. A shadow appeared in the window. Jasmine's hand went to her hip, reaching for a weapon that wasn't there. She was unarmed. Stupid. She should have brought something. The door handle turned. Sarah Chen walked in. Park let out a breath. "Dr. Chen, what are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same thing, David." Sarah's eyes moved to Jasmine. "Major Carter, I thought you might try something like this." "Are you here to stop me?" Jasmine asked. "No, I'm here to help you." Sarah pulled out a flash drive, everything I've been collecting for 5 years. Original medical records before they were altered. Emails between Richard Whitmore and hospital administration. Financial records showing the payoffs. It's all here. She handed the flash drive to Jasmine. "I wanted to do this myself, but I realized I'm too close to it, too emotional. I'd make mistakes. You won't." "How did you know I'd be here tonight?" "Derek told me. He didn't want to, but I convinced him this was bigger than any of us. This is about stopping a serial killer." 40%. The progress bar was moving faster now.
Does anyone else know you're here? Jasmine asked. No, I told the night supervisor I was checking on a patient. I have 15 minutes before anyone notices I'm gone. Then you should leave. If someone sees you with me, I'm already compromised, Sarah said. The moment I started collecting evidence against the Whitmores, I became a target. I've been living on borrowed time for years. The computer beeped. 50%. It's going faster, Park said. The software must have found the cache of deleted files. How much faster? Jasmine asked. Should be done in 10 minutes. Jasmine's phone buzzed. A text from Harrison. Security alert. 2 vehicles just entered hospital parking garage. Not marked. Could be Whitmore's people. She showed the text to Sarah. Do you recognize these vehicles? Sarah looked at the description. Her face went pale. That's Richard Whitmore's security team. They only come when he's here. Richard's here? At 2 in the morning? He must know something's happening. Park stood up, panic in his eyes. We need to abort. If they catch us. We're not aborting, Jasmine said. We're too close. 10 more minutes and we have everything. 10 minutes is too long if Richard Whitmore is coming up here. Then we stall him. Sarah pulled out her phone. I'll create a distraction. Call a code in the ER. That'll pull security and give you time. That's too risky, Jasmine said. Everything about this is risky. Sarah was already dialing. Just get the files and get out. She left. Jasmine could hear her voice in the hallway, calling the code. Alarms started blaring throughout the hospital. Footsteps pounded past the IT office, heading for the ER. 60%. Come on, Jasmine muttered. Come on. Park was watching the door, sweating. If they catch us, I'll lose everything. My job, my pension, my wife's treatment. They won't catch us. I promised you protection and I meant it. 70%. Jasmine's phone buzzed again. Another text from Harrison. Whitmore's men are heading to 3rd floor, East Wing. You have 2 minutes, maybe less. Damn it. Jasmine looked at the progress bar. 75%. We need to go, Park said. Now. Not without the files. The files won't matter if we're dead. 80%. Footsteps in the hallway, getting closer. Multiple people, moving with purpose. Jasmine made a decision. She yanked the USB drive out of the computer. The screen went blank. Did it finish? Park asked. I don't know. We'll find out later. She grabbed Sarah's flash drive too, shoved both into her pocket. Is there another way out of here? The fire exit, down the hall, past the break room. They ran. Behind them, voices shouted. Search every room! Find them! The fire exit was locked from the inside. Jasmine slammed the crash bar. The door flew open, alarm screaming. They burst into the stairwell, taking stairs 3 at a time. Where are we going? Park gasped. Down. Always down. They'll expect us to go up. 2nd floor. 1st floor. Basement. They hit the bottom, and Jasmine pushed through the door into the basement corridor. The same janitor's cart was still there. She grabbed a mop, handed it to Park. Pretend you work here. If anyone sees us, you're maintenance and I'm lost. They walked fast but didn't run. Running attracted attention. At the end of the corridor, Jasmine saw the loading dock exit where she'd entered. Almost there. A security guard stepped around the corner, blocking their path. Hold it. This area is restricted. Park raised the mop. Just finishing my shift. The guard looked at Jasmine. Who's she? I'm lost, Jasmine said. Looking for the parking garage? At 2 in the morning? Night shift nurse, 1st week. This place is a maze. The guard wasn't buying it. His hand went to his radio. I need to call this in. That's not necessary, Jasmine said. I'll decide what's necessary. Stay where you are. He keyed his radio. Control, this is Baker. I've got 2 individuals in the basement corridor. Need ID verification. The radio crackled. Copy that, Baker. Security alert is active. Detain anyone suspicious. The guard's other hand went to his belt, to the weapon there. Don't, Jasmine said quietly. Hands where I can see them. Both of you. Park raised his hands, still holding the mop. Jasmine raised hers too. Now turn around, slowly. Jasmine turned. The guard stepped closer, reaching for his cuffs. She moved, fast, grabbed his wrist, twisted, applied pressure to the radial nerve. The guard gasped, dropped to one knee. Jasmine stripped the radio from his belt, tossed it down the corridor. Then she applied pressure to his carotid artery. 4 seconds later, he slumped, unconscious.
Oh God, Park whispered. You killed him. He's not dead, just sleeping.
Jasmine dragged the guard into a supply closet, propped him against the wall.
He'll wake up in 5 minutes with a headache.
She took his keycard. Come on. They made it to the loading dock. Outside, Jasmine could see a black sedan waiting in the alley. Harrison's extraction team.
Get in,
she told Park.
What about you?
I'm going back. Are you insane? The whole building is on alert.
Sarah Chen is still in there. I'm not leaving her.
She told you to get out! And I'm not following orders. Jasmine shoved him toward the sedan. Go, get somewhere safe. Someone will contact you about witness protection. She didn't wait for his response. She ran back inside. The hospital was chaos now. Alarms blaring, security guards running everywhere. Jasmine blended into the confusion, grabbed a white coat from an empty office, threw it on. Instant camouflage. Doctors could go anywhere. She took the stairs back up to the 3rd floor, found Sarah in her office, packing files into a box. I told you to leave, Sarah said without looking up. I don't follow orders well. That's going to get you killed. Probably, but not tonight. Jasmine grabbed half the files. Where are we taking these? My car, parking garage level 2. They carried the boxes down a different stairwell, made it to the parking garage without encountering security. Sarah's car was a gray Honda, practical and unremarkable. They loaded the boxes into the trunk. Sarah was about to get in the driver's seat when a voice stopped them. Going somewhere, Dr. Chen? Richard Whitmore stood 20 feet away, flanked by 2 men in suits. Not hospital security. Private muscle. Mr. Whitmore, Sarah said. Her voice was steady. I didn't know you were here. I'm always here, Dr. Chen, watching, protecting my interests. His eyes moved to Jasmine. And you, the nurse who assaulted my son. I thought General Harrison took you away. I came back, so I see. Breaking into my hospital, stealing confidential records. That's a felony, you know. Your hospital? Sarah said. Last I checked, Mount Sinai was a public institution, public in name. But I control the board. I control the budget. I control everything that matters. Richard stepped closer. His security team moved with him, including what happens to people who cross me. Are you threatening us? Jasmine asked. I don't make threats. I make promises. And I promise you that if you don't return those files and walk away right now, you will regret it for the rest of your very short lives. We're not giving you anything, Sarah said. Richard's expression didn't change. I was hoping you'd say that. He gestured to his security team. Take them. The 2 men moved forward. Jasmine stepped in front of Sarah. Last chance, Richard said. Give me the files and I'll let you walk away. No. Then you've chosen death. The first security guard reached for Jasmine. She caught his wrist, redirected his momentum, sent him stumbling into the car behind them. The second guard was smarter. He didn't reach. He pulled a gun. Don't move, he said. Jasmine froze. Sarah gasped. Richard smiled. That's better. Now, give me the files. Slowly. Jasmine didn't move. She was calculating,
Distance to the guard, angle of the gun.
Chances of disarming him before he fired. Not good. Maybe 30%. I said, give me the files! Richard's voice rose. No, Jasmine said again. The guard's finger tightened on the trigger. A shot rang out. But it didn't come from the guard's gun. It came from behind Richard. The guard dropped, clutching his shoulder. His gun clattered to the ground. Everyone turned. General Harrison stood at the entrance to the parking garage, holding a service pistol.
Behind him, 4 military police officers with rifles.
Step away from them, Mr. Whitmore, Harrison said.
Richard's face went from triumphant to terrified in seconds.
You can't. This is illegal. You have no jurisdiction here.
I have jurisdiction wherever I say I have jurisdiction. Harrison walked forward, gun still aimed at Richard's security team.
Major Carter is operating under my authority. Anyone who interferes with her mission is interfering with a military operation. That includes you. This is absurd. I'm calling the mayor. Call whoever you want. By tomorrow morning, every news outlet in the country will have copies of the files Major Carter just recovered. 43 cases of medical malpractice. 43 families you paid off. 43 deaths you covered up. Harrison's voice was cold. Your son is a killer, and you made it possible. Richard's hands were shaking. You can't prove any of that. We just did. Jasmine held up the USB drive.
Every deleted file, every altered record, every email you sent ordering the cover-ups, it's all here.
Richard looked at the drive, looked at Harrison, looked at his wounded security guard groaning on the ground. He was a man who'd built an empire on intimidation and money. But money couldn't buy him out of this, and intimidation didn't work on people who'd faced real enemies. This isn't over, Richard said. Yes, it is, Harrison said. You just don't know it yet. He gestured to the MPs.
Escort Mr. Whitmore from the premises. If he resists, arrest him for obstruction. Richard was led away, still sputtering threats. His security team went with him, the wounded guard helped by the other one. When they were gone, Sarah let out a breath she'd been holding. I can't believe that just happened. Believe it, Harrison said, because it's about to get a lot more intense. He looked at Jasmine. Did you get everything? I think so. Won't know for sure until we analyze the drive. Then let's get out of here before Whitmore calls in more favors. They drove back to the Georgetown safe house in convoy. Harrison in one car, Sarah and Jasmine in another, the files secured in the trunk. Inside the safe house, Captain Shen was waiting. She saw her sister and her eyes widened. Sarah? What are you doing here? Helping. Sarah set the box of files on the table. I should have done this years ago. I'm done hiding. Lisa Chen looked at Harrison. Sir, this complicates things. Everything's already complicated, Harrison said. One more witness doesn't change much. He looked at Jasmine. Get that USB drive to our tech team. I want to know what's on it within the hour. Jasmine handed over the drive. A young soldier took it, disappeared into another room. Sarah sat down heavily. I just threw away my career, my medical license, everything I've worked for. You did the right thing, Jasmine said. The right thing doesn't pay my bills. The right thing lets you sleep at night, Lisa Chen said quietly. I wish I could have convinced you to help sooner. You never told me you were investigating them, Sarah said. I couldn't. It would have compromised the investigation. And what about compromising our relationship? You've been lying to me for 3 years. I was protecting you. I didn't need protection. I needed my sister. The room went silent. The two sisters stared at each other, years of grief and anger and unspoken pain hanging between them. Harrison cleared his throat. I'll give you two some privacy. He left. Jasmine followed.
Outside the room, she could hear Sarah and Lisa arguing, old wounds being reopened, old betrayals being aired. "Family's complicated," Harrison said. "So I've heard," Jasmine said. She'd never had much family. Father dead, mother gone when she was young. The military had been her family for years.
The soldier came back with the USB drive. "Sir, you need to see this." They went into the tech room. A laptop displayed rows of recovered files, thousands of them.
"Did it work?"
Jasmine asked. "Better than work. The USB captured everything. Every file the Whitmores tried to delete, every altered record, every piece of evidence." The soldier pulled up a spreadsheet. "I've been analyzing the data. It's not 43 cases." Harrison leaned forward. "What?"
"It's 68 cases.
68 patients who died or were permanently injured due to Marcus Whitmore's negligence over the past 12 years. The number hit like a physical blow. 68 people. 68 families destroyed.
"That's mass murder,"
Jasmine said. "That's exactly what it is," Harrison agreed. "And we have the evidence to prove it." He looked at the soldier. "Package this up, everything. Send copies to the FBI, the State Medical Board, and every major news outlet. I want this public by morning." "Sir, shouldn't we go through proper channels? The DOD Inspector General, the Attorney General? Proper channels take months, years. The Whitmores will use that time to destroy more evidence, intimidate more witnesses, cover their tracks. No. We go public now. Force their hand." The soldier nodded. "Yes, sir." Jasmine's phone buzzed. A text from Derek. "Chloe wants to talk. Says she has information about Richard Whitmore. Says it's urgent." She showed the text to Harrison. "The nurse who ran away yesterday. She wants to help now." "What changed your mind?" "I don't know. But if she has information about Richard, we need to hear it." "Set up a meeting, somewhere public, and take backup." Jasmine texted back. "Where and when?" The response came immediately. "Same coffee shop, 0600 hours. Come alone." Harrison read over her shoulder. "That's in 2 hours, and she wants you alone." "I know." "It's a trap." "Probably." "You're going anyway." "Of course." Harrison smiled slightly. "Your father would be proud. And terrified." "That's usually how people feel about me," Jasmine said. She tried to rest for the next 90 minutes, but sleep wouldn't come. Her mind kept running through everything that had happened. The files they'd recovered, the 68 victims, Richard Whitmore's face when he realized he'd lost. But they hadn't won yet. Not completely. Richard still had money, still had connections. He could still make this go away if they weren't careful. At 0545, Jasmine left for the coffee shop. Harrison sent 2 MPs to shadow her at a distance. Insurance, he called it. Chloe was already there when Jasmine arrived, sitting in the same booth as before. But something was different. She looked calm. Too calm. Jasmine sat down. "You wanted to talk?" "I did." Chloe folded her hands on the table. "I wanted to apologize for running away before. I was scared. You had every right to be, but I shouldn't have run. Not when you're risking everything to stop the Whitmores." Chloe paused. "I want to help now." "What changed?" "I went home after I ran, talked to my mother, told her everything. And she told me about my aunt." "Your aunt?" "She died at Mount Sinai Hospital 6 years ago. I never knew why. My mother never talked about it. But last night she finally told me. My aunt died during a surgery. The surgeon made a mistake. Cut something he wasn't supposed to cut, and the hospital paid my mother money to stay quiet about it." Jasmine's heart sank. "The surgeon was Marcus Whitmore." "Yes." Tears were streaming down Chloe's face now.
My mother took the money because she needed it, because she had bills and my aunt was already dead and nothing could bring her back. But she's carried the guilt for 6 years, and when I told her what you're doing, she said I had to help. She said I had to make sure no other family goes through what we went through.
I'm sorry about your aunt.
Don't be sorry. Just stop him. Stop both of them.
I will, I promise. Chloe reached into her bag.
I have something for you. Records from the night my aunt died. My mother kept copies. She didn't trust the hospital to tell the truth. She slid a folder across the table. Jasmine opened it. Medical records, surgical notes, and photos. Photos of the botched surgery. Photos of the aftermath. This is evidence, Jasmine said. I know. Use it. Make them pay.
Jasmine looked at Chloe. Really looked at her. This young nurse who'd been terrified yesterday was now sitting here, handing over evidence that could destroy her career. Fear hadn't disappeared, but courage had overridden it.
Thank you, Jasmine said. Don't thank me yet. Just win.
Jasmine left the coffee shop with the folder. The MPs fell in behind her as she walked back to the car. She was about to call Harrison when her phone rang. It was a number she didn't recognize.
Hello?
Major Carter. The voice was familiar. Cold. Richard Whitmore. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. I disagree. I have something you want, and you have something I want. I propose a trade. What could you possibly have that I want? Master Sergeant Maxwell Johnson. Such a shame about his condition. The doctors say he might not make it through the night. Jasmine's blood went cold.
What did you do?
Nothing yet, but I will. Unless you return the files you stole and agree to drop this ridiculous investigation.
If you touch him,
You'll what? You're already doing your worst. But I can do worse. Much worse. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to meet me, alone. And we're going to end this, one way or another.
The line went dead. Jasmine stood there, hand shaking, mind racing. Richard Whitmore had Max. And if she didn't do something fast, he was going to kill him.
Jasmine called Harrison before her hand stopped shaking.
Richard Whitmore just contacted me. He's threatening to kill Max if I don't meet him alone.
Where's Max now? Harrison's voice was sharp.
I don't know. I thought he was recovering at Walter Reed.
He was. I'll verify his status immediately. Don't do anything until I call back. The line went dead. Jasmine paced the sidewalk. The MPS watched her from their car, confused. 30 seconds felt like 30 years. Her phone rang.
Max is safe, Harrison said.
He's in a secure wing at Walter Reed, under military guard. There's no way Whitmore can get to him.
Then why would he say?
Jasmine stopped.
It's a bluff. He's trying to draw me out.
Exactly. And you're not going.
I have to. If there's even a 1% chance he has someone inside Walter Reed,
there isn't. I just spoke to the head of security. Max is locked down. 4 guards. No visitors except medical staff with clearance. Jasmine felt relief, then anger.
So Richard lied to manipulate me into a meeting?
Yes, which means the meeting is a trap, which means you're absolutely not going.
He'll try something else. He's desperate.
Let him be desperate. We have the evidence. The files go public in 3 hours. By noon, every news outlet in America will be running the story. The Whitmores are finished.
Not if Richard runs. He has money, resources, connections. He could disappear to a country without extradition.
Harrison was quiet. What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting I go to the meeting. I wear a wire. I get him to confess on tape. And then we have him for everything.
That's insane. He'll have you killed the moment you show up.
Maybe, but I don't think so. He wants something from me. He wants the files. He wants leverage. You don't kill someone who has what you need.
You're gambling with your life based on what you think a desperate billionaire will do. I've made worse bets. Harrison sighed. If I order you not to go? With respect, sir, I'll ignore that order. You really are your father's daughter. Harrison paused. Fine, but you're not going in alone. We'll have a tactical team in position. The moment things go south, we extract you.
Richard will see them.
Not if they're good enough. And mine are the best.
30 minutes later, Jasmine was wired for sound and wearing a bulletproof vest under her jacket. Harrison's team had positioned snipers on surrounding buildings. Jasmine had an earbud connecting her to Harrison and a panic button disguised as a watch.
Where's the meeting? Harrison asked.
Jasmine's phone buzzed with an address. Greenwich Hospital, private wing, top floor.
That's a private hospital for wealthy patients. Security will be tight.
That's why he chose it.
He feels safe there. Or he wants you isolated. Probably both. Jasmine drove to Greenwich in a borrowed car. The hospital was smaller than Mount Sinai, but more expensive. Marble floors, art on the walls. This was where billionaires came when they needed medical care. The lobby receptionist looked up as Jasmine entered.
Can I help you? I'm here to see Richard Whitmore. Mr. Whitmore is in the executive suite, 10th floor, but he's not receiving visitors. He's expecting me.
The receptionist made a call, listened, hung up.
The elevator is to your right.
Jasmine took the elevator up. The doors opened onto a hallway with only one door. 2 security guards stood outside. Arms out, one said. They patted her down, found the wire immediately. She's wired, the guard said into his radio. A voice crackled back. Let her in. Mr. Whitmore is aware. The guards opened the door. Jasmine walked into a suite that looked more like a penthouse apartment than a hospital room. Richard Whitmore sat in a leather chair by the window, a glass of scotch in his hand. Major Carter. Punctual. I appreciate that.
Where's Max?
Safe. For now. Richard gestured to a chair. Please, sit.
I'll stand.
Suit yourself. Richard took a sip of scotch. I imagine you're wondering why I ask you here.
You said you wanted to make a trade.
I lied. There is no trade.
Sergeant Johnson is perfectly safe at Walter Reed.
I have no leverage over you. Jasmine's hand moved toward the panic button. Don't, Richard said. If you trigger that alarm, people will die. Not you, not me, but the nurses on the floor below us. I have men positioned there. The moment your tactical team moves in, my men start shooting. Jasmine froze.
You're bluffing.
Am I? Do you want to test that theory? Richard set down his glass. Here's the truth, Major Carter. You've won. The files are public. My son will go to prison. My reputation is destroyed. Everything I've built over 40 years is gone. Then why am I here? Because I want you to understand something before the end. Richard stood up, walked to the window. I'm not a monster. I never wanted any of this.
You covered up 68 murders.
I protected my son. What father wouldn't do the same?
A father who cared about justice more than his own blood.
Richard laughed bitterly. Justice.
You speak of justice like it's sacred.
But justice is just another word for revenge dressed up in legal robes.
Those families deserved the truth.
Those families got $2 million each. That's more than they would have gotten from a lawsuit. I made their lives better.
You made their lives a lie.
And what's wrong with a comfortable lie? Is the truth really worth destroying lives over?
Yes,
Jasmine said.
Always.
Richard turned to face her. You're young, idealistic.
You think the world is black and white, good and evil.
But it's not.
It's gray. It's compromise. It's choosing the least terrible option. You chose to let your son keep killing people. I chose to protect my family. Marcus is sick. He has a neurological condition that affects his judgment, his fine motor control. He should never have become a surgeon. But it was his dream, his mother's dream. And when she died, I promised her I'd take care of him. By enabling him to kill patients? By trying to get him help while managing the damage he caused. I hired the best therapists, the best addiction specialists. I tried everything. Except stopping him from operating. Richard's shoulders sagged. I should have. I know that now. But how do you tell your son he's not good enough? How do you destroy his dream when it's all he has left? You do it because lives are at stake. Spoken like someone who's never had children. Richard picked up his glass again. I didn't bring you here to debate morality. I brought you here to ask for one thing. What? Mercy. For my son, not for me. I'll take whatever punishment comes. But Marcus, he's sick. He needs treatment, not prison. He's a serial killer. He's a sick man who made terrible mistakes. 68 mistakes. 68 people who trusted him and died. Richard's hand trembled. I know. I know what he's done, and I'll carry that guilt to my grave, but he's still my son. Can you understand that? Can you understand loving someone even when they've done monstrous things? Jasmine thought about her father, about the missions that had turned him into someone she barely recognized before he died, about loving him despite the darkness he'd brought home. I understand, she said quietly. But understanding doesn't change what has to happen. He'll die in prison. Maybe. Or maybe he'll finally face what he's done. The door opened. Marcus Whitmore walked in. Jasmine's hand went to her hip, reaching for the weapon she still didn't have. Marcus looked terrible. His wrist was in a cast, his face was gaunt. He'd aged 10 years in 2 days. Hello, Major Carter, he said. His voice was flat, empty. Marcus, what are you doing here? Richard stood up. I told you to stay away. I couldn't. Not after what you've done. Marcus looked at his father. Tell her the truth, Dad. Tell her all of it. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Tell her about the drugs. Tell her about the threats. Tell her everything. Richard's face went pale. Marcus, don't. He's been drugging me, Marcus said to Jasmine. For 5 years. Giving me pills he said would help with my anxiety. But they weren't anxiety medication. They were experimental drugs designed to suppress neurological function, to make me more compliant, to control me. Jasmine stared at Richard. You drugged your own son? It was for his own good. He was having episodes, making increasingly dangerous mistakes. The medication stabilized him. It turned me into a zombie, Marcus's voice rose. I couldn't think clearly, couldn't focus. And when I tried to stop taking them, he threatened to cut off my trust fund, threatened to have me committed. You needed help. I needed my father. I needed someone to tell me the truth, that I wasn't good enough to be a surgeon, that I was hurting people. Marcus was crying now. But instead you covered it up. You paid people off. You made me believe I was fine, that I was just having bad luck. I was protecting you. You were protecting yourself, your reputation, your legacy. Marcus pulled something from his pocket, a recording device. I've been recording our conversations for 6 months. Every time you ordered me to cover up a mistake, every time you threatened me, every time you paid someone to stay quiet. He handed the device to Jasmine. It's all here. Everything you need to put him away for the rest of his life.
Richard lunged for the device. Marcus stepped back. Richard stumbled, caught himself on the chair.
You ungrateful. After everything I've done for you.
You've done nothing for me. You destroyed me. You turned me into a killer and then made me think it was my fault.
It was your fault. You're the one who made the mistakes.
Because you drugged me. Because you pushed me into a career I wasn't capable of. Because you cared more about the Whitmore name than you cared about your own son. Richard's face was purple. I loved you. No, you loved the idea of me. The version of me that made you look good. The surgeon's son who continued the family legacy. But you never loved the real me. The one who was broken and scared and desperately needed his father to tell him it was okay to fail. The door burst open. FBI agents flooded in, guns drawn.
Richard Whitmore, Marcus Whitmore. You're under arrest.
The lead agent stepped forward. For conspiracy to commit murder, obstruction of justice, medical malpractice, and 46 counts of voluntary manslaughter. Richard didn't resist. He just stood there, staring at his son with an expression of betrayal and heartbreak. Marcus held out his wrists for the cuffs. I want to make a full confession. Everything. Every patient, every mistake, every cover-up.
You have that right, the agent said.
But you should know, anything you say, I know my rights. I waive them. I want to tell the truth. Finally. They were led away. Richard silent and defeated. Marcus talking, the words pouring out like he'd been holding them back for years. Harrison appeared in the doorway. You okay? I'm fine. Jasmine handed him the recording device. You're going to want to hear this. The nurses downstairs? There were no gunmen. Richard was bluffing.
And you took that chance?
I had a feeling. Desperate men make threats they can't follow through on. Harrison shook his head. One day your feelings are going to get you killed. Maybe. But not today. 3 months later, Jasmine sat in a courtroom gallery watching Richard Whitmore's trial. The prosecution had presented the recovered files, the recordings Marcus had made, testimony from Derek, Chloe, Sarah Chen, and 20 other hospital staff members who'd finally found the courage to speak up. The jury took 4 hours to reach a verdict. Guilty on all counts. Richard Whitmore was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison. He'd be 93 when he got out, if he lived that long. Marcus's trial was different. His lawyers argued diminished capacity due to the drugs his father had given him. The judge showed mercy. 20 years with possibility of parole after 12. Marcus would spend his time in a psychiatric facility, not a maximum security prison. Some people thought it was too lenient. Jasmine wasn't sure. Marcus was a victim and a perpetrator. The truth was complicated. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Jasmine pushed through them without comment. She'd said everything she needed to say on the witness stand. Derek was waiting by her car. Hey. Hey yourself. How's the new job? Good. Boston General is nothing like Mount Sinai. The doctors actually listen when nurses speak up. He smiled. Thanks for the recommendation. You earned it. You were brave when it mattered. So were you. Chloe appeared, out of breath from running. Sorry I'm late. My shift ran over. Did I miss the verdict? Guilty, Jasmine said. Both of them. Chloe closed her eyes. Good. My mother will be relieved. Sarah Chen joined them. That's one for the good guys. Your sister did most of the heavy lifting, Jasmine said. I know. We're having dinner tonight. First time in 3 years we've actually talked without fighting. Sarah paused. Thank you for giving me the courage to finally do something. You always had the courage. You just needed someone to remind you. A black sedan pulled up. Harrison leaned out the window. Major, Need a ride? Jasmine said goodbye to the nurses and got in. Harrison drove in silence for a while.
How are you feeling? He asked finally. Tired. Relieved. Sad. Sad? 68 people are still dead. Nothing we did brings them back. No, but we made sure they didn't die for nothing. Their families got justice, and we stopped it from happening to anyone else. Until the next Marcus Whitmore comes along. Then we'll stop him too. Harrison glanced at her. I have a proposition for you. I'm listening. I'm putting together a special unit, military personnel who investigate corruption in civilian institutions, hospitals, police departments, government agencies, places where bad people hide behind authority and money. Sounds dangerous. It is, but necessary, and I need someone to lead it. Someone who isn't afraid to fight powerful people. Someone who knows that doing the right thing matters more than politics or career advancement. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you a mission, one that will probably make you a lot of enemies, one that will be frustrating and exhausting and occasionally thankless. Harrison smiled. Interested? Jasmine thought about it, thought about the 68 people who died because no one stopped the Whitmores sooner. Thought about all the other Marcus Whitmores out there, protected by money and power and fear. When do I start? Monday, if you're ready. I'm ready. They drove to Walter Reed. Max was in a private room, awake and alert. The gunshot wounds were healing. He'd be discharged in a week. Ghost, he said when she walked in. Heard you've been busy. Just finishing what you started. I didn't start anything. I got shot. You gave me a reason to fight. That's enough. Max's expression turned serious. I heard about the Whitmores, both of them going to prison. For a long time. Good. That doctor nearly killed me with his arrogance. A lot of people weren't as lucky as you. I know. And I know you're carrying that weight. But don't. You saved my life. You got justice for those families. You did everything right. Did I? Marcus is sick. Maybe he deserves treatment more than prison. Maybe. But the people he killed deserved to live. Sometimes there are no good choices, just less bad ones. Jasmine sat in the chair next to his bed. Harrison offered me a job, leading a unit that investigates corruption. You taking it? I think so. Someone has to do it. Just promise me something. What? Don't lose yourself in it. Don't let fighting monsters turn you into one. Jasmine thought about Richard Whitmore, a father who'd loved his son so much he'd enabled him to become a killer. About how love and evil could coexist in the same heart. I'll try, she said. That's all anyone can do. 6 weeks later, Jasmine stood in the emergency room at Mount Sinai Hospital, not as a patient or a fugitive, as a visiting instructor. Dr. Sarah Chen had invited her to give a talk on medical ethics to the nursing staff. The same nurses who'd watched Marcus Whitmore assault her were now listening to her speak about standing up to authority when patients' lives were at stake. When she finished, they gave her a standing ovation. Derek approached after. That was powerful. I just told the truth. Sometimes that's the most powerful thing you can do. He handed her a folder. This came for you yesterday, forwarded from the Pentagon. Jasmine opened it. Letters, dozens of them, from families of Marcus Whitmore's victims, thanking her, telling her their loved ones' deaths finally meant something, that justice had been served. One letter stood out, from the daughter of Robert Chen, Sarah's father. Thank you for fighting when no one else would. My grandfather died believing the world was unfair and the powerful always win.
Because of you, I don't have to believe that anymore. Because of you, I know that one person standing up can change everything.
Jasmine folded the letter carefully, put it in her pocket. She'd keep it. A reminder of why the fight mattered, why speaking truth to power was worth the risk. As she left the hospital, she passed the trauma bay where it had all started, where Marcus Whitmore had grabbed her hair and thrown her into a cabinet where she'd made the choice to fight back instead of staying silent. The quiet nurse who wasn't quiet anymore. The woman who'd reminded an entire hospital that courage wasn't the absence of fear. It was doing the right thing despite it. Jasmine Carter walked out into the New York afternoon, ready for whatever came next. The Whitmores were in prison. 68 families had justice. And somewhere out there, another corrupt system was waiting for someone brave enough to tear it down. She'd be ready. Because silence had never been her style, and it never would be.